My problem with with this kind of march for us as Black people is we all march, we all listen to the fabulous speech, but when it's done, nothing is done for the community. I believe, as hip hop artists and musicians, whoever, if they just started scholarship funds in their own communities, and instead of just giving away treats at Christmas or treats at Thanksgiving, but do something to help the kids who are struggling, give them education, I think it would be far different with our Black communities.
I can't disagree with that at all. I think that would be a great idea. I think there are a lot of artists that do a lot of things that don't like to publicize it, and then there's people who publicize what they do. I think that I also think that artists get to a certain point in their career sometimes, and people in general, they've worked really hard to get where they are, and they also like to invest in people that have that same initiative as well, right? So. High school graduates. I know some people have certain scholarship requirements. They're not just handing out money like that, right? I think that's in some ways, that's making people feel like there's handouts coming all the time. I think that some people want to see what kind of GPA do you have? What do you want for yourself? Somebody to just give you a scholarship and you don't actually know what you want to do with it it's probably a waste as well. School ain't for everybody. And then there's a part where school ain't for everybody. There's a lot. I didn't finish college. I took a different path. So as far as the Million Man March, I think that environments like that and gatherings like that are good for motivation. I think it's good to see ourselves collectively, because oftentimes we don't get to see ourselves. I mean, obviously we see ourselves at church, but to see when people put their religious beliefs aside, and they put their, whatever hang-ups they have with one another or different people from different belief systems aside to gather and say, hey, we collectively have issues we need to deal with. I went 20 years ago and I went this year. I have to say that 20 years ago it was definitely about men being responsible fathers and husbands and brothers and, stepping up and being active in the community. This year was definitely, it felt, and it's truth, it's an atmosphere of we're under attack and we're trying to save our own lives. And in some regards, a lot of the attack is ourselves attacking each other. It's black on black crime in our own communities, our children doing the crime, our children, acting out. A lot of times it's our young people. So it was good to see a lot of young people there. So I agree it's frustrating that you gather and you don't know what the end game is or what the next steps are. I, too, subscribe to some of that frustration. But I'm not going to not support. That's not enough for me to not support. Okay. That's like saying, you're not going to church because you never actually met Jesus Christ yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to have some faith that in something. You know what I mean? So, people,
As a media personality.
And this is the last question.
That fast? We was about to boogie. We was about to go. Set up with the Million Man March.
Can I get one question?
A little religious jam. This thing was.
Can I get one question in, please? So we wasn't here for the last point on.
No. We'll go. Yeah.
As a media personality, how do you find the balance between treading lightly and putting your foot in your mouth on certain subjects?
Definitely. How do I find the balance? Sometimes the balance finds you when you put your foot in the mouth, and you on the radio apologizing because you're gonna hurt somebody's feelings. I've been there. I've also, over the years, 25 years doing this, learned that there's a time and place. I think oftentimes media people, especially right now with blogs and social media and, everybody gunning for ratings and clicks on a site and this and that, they throw their moral fiber sometimes out the window to just get clicks and get, seen. We've seen a lot of that in the past couple of days with the Lamar Odom situation, where you have somebody, look, I went on the radio and I was vocal about reality shows, and I've been vocal about not liking reality shows. But this is a real life situation. And, while we all, I was upset about it, just because Lamar Odom's a nice person, a troubled person that we know from Queens, grew up out here, has had a lot of his personal accolades, but also has a lot of personal, issues that he's lived through. And, you know, I've just been vocal about this reality shows tearing families apart for a long time. And this is like the worst case scenario, right? And, you know, it's a perfect example because I could have kept quiet and just been like, you know, pray for Lamar, but I went out and jumped out and said, you know, I believe that this reality show contributed to his demise in this way. And people agreed and people disagreed and people are mad at me and maybe Chloe's mad at me. But I, you know, and that's not a knock on the Kardashian family because that's how they run their business. But that business isn't for everyone. And you fall in love with a woman and that's her business. And I'm sure we've all been in that scenario where you love somebody, but what they do professionally, you know, my own personal life. My lady does not play with the shenanigans. Like, she don't do the Instagram, she don't do the Twitter, she don't want to hear nobody talking about her baby. She's not, I've never, you know, I don't say her name on the radio. She drew that line early. She knew that for herself. I think in this, you know, so that's kind of it. You know, sometimes you just learn over time by making errors. I've made errors before. And hopefully you don't make any errors that end your career or, you know, lose business for the radio station or anything like that. So that's it. You know, I think you also have to factor in when you're deciding what you're going to do for content, the human factor, right? Like the human element. If it doesn't feel good to you as a human being, you probably shouldn't be doing it. You know what I mean? Even if it's going to be popular, because at a certain point you're going to have to stop and look at yourself in the mirror and say, do I really like the person that I am? You know, we've seen media personalities like, you know, Wendy Williams, who, you know, made her name doing trashy stuff and hurting people, right? And, you know, fast forward to right now, yes, she has a lot of money in her pocket. Yes, she has a popular TV show, but she also has a lot of stuff going on with her son and, you know, her own personal life. And, you know, you live in that, and you like the saying goes, you live by that, you kind of die by that, metaphorically speaking. So I think that's the balance. The balance is personal. Some people they don't care. Like, we see there's people who jump up, you know, on television and say anything, like racial stuff, you know. I mean, look at Donald Trump. What's his line? You know, I don't know. That's his own personal thing that he's got to live with, you know. So I think that, A, you got to make a decision for yourself, and B, if it doesn't feel good to you, who you are and your moral code, then that's probably not a place you should go, no matter how much money is involved.
Thank you.
Your next question.
So awesome.
That's it? That was good? All right.
It was great.
Yo, it's nice meeting everyone quickly.
How are you?
I'm good. How you? I'm great, actually. How are you?
God bless you.
You can do you, but I.
All right, so it's time for a few questions.
All right. So, that ebony cover.
I really don't want to even. I can't get to that. So if all your questions are about Cosby and all that, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to promote.
Yeah, let's
my
keep it
record.
focused on Circle of
Yeah,
Sisters and
Circle Sisters. I'm here to promote my CD. I'm not here to talk about Cosby stuff.
Tell us about the CD.
Okay, thank you. So I have a CD that just dropped 3 weeks ago on iTunes. It debuted on the #1 spot on iTunes spoken word chart. It's called Selfless. My featured guest performers, Stokely Williams from The Condition, Layla Hathaway, Rasan Patterson, Robert Glasper, and Lettucey. So it's a really, people have really been responding to this record in a really positive and really powerful way.
What's the message with the CD?
With the CD, it's called Selfless. So it's about, most of the messages in my music, it always comes back around to self-love, self-responsibility, self-accountability. This record really represents a point where I am in my life now, just in terms of having turned 45, looking at life differently, looking at love differently, sharing my own insecurities, vulnerabilities, swag as well. But I write, as a poet, I write as therapy for me. So writing is very therapeutic for me. And what I've learned and have always been taught as a writer, the more specific you are about what you're writing about, the more universal it winds up being. So there are a lot of really personal things that I have shared on this record, and the feedback I'm getting is those very things really have resonated with people. So as a poet, there's nothing more gratifying than knowing that your words actually connect with people, and they really feel what it is you're expressing and can really relate to what it is you're expressing. As a bass player, it's always gratifying when people dig your music. So from both levels, I'm very gratified and very fulfilled because it's a project that I'm proud of. But it's even more wonderful that people are listening to it and they are responding to it lyrically and musically.
Kristen, you grew up on TV part of us. How do you separate the two lives? Because people tend to refer to you as the Cosby Kid.
Sure.
How does that affect you, as growing up as an adult?
Hey, I've had 8 shows since Cosby. So, that Cosby Show is something that I'm very proud of. I'm very proud of the legacy. I'm very proud of the influence that it has had on Black America and white America. But I've done a lot of work. I've done a lot of work since then. So there are people who are still stuck in that. But there are so many people who have watched my journey and watched my progression as a man, as an actor, as an artist. And that's a good feeling, because there are people who want to see me grow and don't want to keep me stuck in the box. And I've worked very hard to have a life and career after Cosby. Even when I was on the show, I was very clear that my plan was life after the show, because I never wanted to be one of those "where are they now" kids. My mother, I talk about this all the time, but my mother said to me first season of the show, remember when the show first hit, it was out the ratings were through the roof. And my mother sat me down and said, "Baby, this is great with this show. It's the phenomenon that it is. But you know how this business is. This show could be over next year. What are you going to do when the show's over?" So I had, even at the height of that show, my focus was always life beyond Cosby. So I've worked very hard and did a lot of planning early on to be able to have the kind of career and kind of life that I have had. So I know, some people are still stuck, in the Cosby thing, which is cool, but there's so many people who really get, and really enjoy, what I do as an adult.
Thank you.
All right, last question.
Okay, and so of course you just explained your journey. Will we see you back on the TV screen or possibly the big screen anytime soon?
Well, TV. I'm still trying to crack the feature film nut. But TV, that's really. That has been my lane, and TV has been very good to me. I've been on some really awesome shows, just really in the past year. I do a recurring role in Major Crimes, Sons of Anarchy, which is great because I got to play the law in one show and got to play an outlaw on another show. American Horror Story. So this year I'm back on Major Crimes, and we're wrapping up American Crime Story, which is for FX. It's American Crime Story, The People versus O.J. Simpson. And I'm playing Al Cowens, infamously known as the White Bronco driver. So those are the two most immediate television things going on now.
There's a
Last
movie
question.
by Don Quinn. He's doing a remake of actually not a remake, but it's
Miles Ahead.
Yeah, Miles Ahead.
Yeah.
I think those are going to be the next interesting featured films that will be coming up. Especially if that particular one does well. Do you have any thoughts about delving into that? Because it really helped the jazz industry.
Delving into
more young people into knowing more about the art of jazz, and the best way to go about that is to do more movies on it, or subject matters on it through film. Do you have any? You ever had any interest on doing anything like that?
Well, I'm a director, so I've not necessarily pitched, anything that has to do with, the jazz movement or anything. But because I am a studying, you know, I'm not, I wouldn't quite classify myself as a jazz musician yet, because I don't do a whole lot of straight ahead, but I am a studying jazz musician. So I definitely think somewhere down the line that would be an interesting you know, cross in terms of doing something film-wise that satisfies both interests.
I really think you do well.
Thank you. One of the things that because I call my band a jazz funk band, I'm really big on live music, but I'm also into production. You know, I'm a Ableton Live Pro Tools guy, so I get all that as well. But there's really something to be said for being able to actually play an instrument, to be able to play out live in front of people and express yourself through an instrument. So as much as I'm very much part of the computer-generated expression of music, I'm also a big proponent of playing live. So the thing I like is when kids see what I do on the music end, and again, musically and also with the spoken word, because as much as, you know, I dig hip hop, you know, I'm also a proponent of spoken word, because spoken word doesn't have the same kind of rigidity that hip hop has. So for young people to see what I do as a poet and see what I do as a musician, I like the fact that it inspires and it gives options. You don't have to do it. Right. You have options. Right. And that's the thing I want young people to know, that there are always options, there are always choices.
Well, we'll be keeping our eyes and ears open.
Dig it. Appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
I know you're on Basketball Wives. This season was crazy. I watched. I remember that line. You're being cast off the island.
Yes.
For you.
And thank you for your services. Next question.
For you, a lot of times you're portrayed as the aggressor, but I've watched it and I realized you're the one that's always trying to just make things work, you know, trying to get the truth out. Do you think that because of your personality, people sometimes misjudge you for being the aggressive person?
I don't think that everybody misjudges me. I think that there are certain people that can't handle when somebody's just going to keep it straight with them. And I'm the type of person, if I allow you into my space, then I should be able to tell you how I feel about something, and everybody can't really handle that.
So I have a question regarding the panel discussion that you were just on. Now, I don't know if I'm the only person that kind of felt a little something weird between you and Dari, because I know you made a comment about, you know, let me update you on my resume. I'm not trying to start any drama. I'm just curious to know, like, was there a little bit of confusion, or was it because you allowed her into your space? You know, was it one of those situations, or?
Well, I wasn't confused. I think that she was confused, only because I think that the panel was, my perception of it was that it was supposed to be about reality and how the game has changed and that reality is taking over. And then I was planning on speaking to the fact that coming from the scripted world, it has served as a vehicle for me. I think the way the conversation was steered made it appear that, you know, it was like scripted versus reality. And I don't think that it should be a versus. I think that both lanes can exist. And that's why I started my whole moment up there by saying I've been blessed to be in both worlds.
Tim, you have so many amazing projects, your cosmetic line, your hair line, and probably other projects we don't know. What is it that you want to maybe stress, especially at Circle of Sisters, that you're not just an actress or reality, you're a businesswoman. So what is it that you just want to let the world know that I'm not just a TV personality?
I think that most people know me from a show that is an ensemble piece. And I think that when you're dealing with an ensemble, people should look at reality just as they would view a scripted. They have to make characters in order for you to watch. So they're going to take the five of us and they're going to make us the character that they need us to be. So I think when people watch the show, don't just limit us to what you're watching. Investigate. Google is your friend. Right. You know what everybody has going on, and I think that people just tend to look at what they see and think that that's it. When you look at Basketball Wives, pretty much we're all portrayed one-dimensionally. Shawnee's always this way. Evelyn was this way. I'm always portrayed this way. Not one person in here is a one-dimensional human being. So please use Google. Find out what we've got going on, because all of us have a lot of other ventures outside of Basketball Wives.
Now we know you have, like you said, you have other ventures outside of Basketball Wives. Recently, we've seen that you have an upcoming sitcom with Paris Phillips and Nick Young.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I'm excited about that because it's Nick's first time acting. For people who don't know, Nick plays for the LA Lakers, so he's venturing into the acting world. And I'm excited because it's a return back to scripted programming for me. People don't realize that for 14 years, I've worked as an actress. Real World was the first reality show I did, and I vowed it was going to be the last one. But, you know, life happens, and sometimes you make decisions that you have to make to be able to take care of your family. So I returned back to Basketball Wives, and because of that, now everybody that's just coming to know about me thinks I'm just a reality TV person, and I'm breaking in. That's not the case. So I'm excited for people to see me actually in the craft.
What can you expect on that show?
I play Nick's publicist. So I'm like the boss of his life and his career, and he's a Brooklyn boy who goes to Hollywood, and Paris Phillips plays his assistant, and she kind of reminds him, no, you BK all the way. You don't become this Hollywood thing. And so it's kind of like, I'm not going to say take away from the legacy of these shows, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, The Martin, but the comedy of it all is very similar to those.
Last
So I am from Collide TV, and I wanted to know, how important is it for you to stay connected with your fans via social media?
I'm always talking to people on social media. My clapback game is the best ever. Like, it is the best. And I've evolved in my clapback. You know, it used to be a bunch of bitches and get off my timeline. And now I'm like, God loves you. And stay blessed. But, you know, I seriously, though, I try to talk to people. We don't see everything. I mean, like, you know, when I'm on Twitter, there's 100,000 people talking all at once. So, you know, what I see, I answer. On Facebook, I'm always talking. Instagram, you can't really respond on Instagram, so all you can do is just be like, hey, I heard you, you know, I see you, or whatever. But I try to engage because I'm the one person who understands that where I am is because of everybody that's watching. Whether you like me, you hate me, whatever, you're still watching. You're still supporting the brand of Basketball Wives, which is what most people know me from. And then there are those people who have followed me from the real world that support me. So I'm always acknowledging.
Right, last question.
Hi, thank you. My name is Denise Fitzgerald. I run a freelance Go Doctor Go. And because you're here at Circle of Sisters, what is the takeaway for children watching your journey? And
in which aspect of my journey?
Business, as a businesswoman.
Okay. I think that what I like to let people know is that involve yourself in something that you're knowledgeable about. I think that when people start to enter or decide to enter into the business world outside of corporate America, I'm talking about being an entrepreneur, they tend to look at things that other people have been successful in and say, I can do that. And it's not necessarily that you can't. But don't open a beauty shop if you don't know how to do hair, because when your hairstylist doesn't come in, you still have customers. Don't open a nail shop if you don't speak Chinese. No disrespect, or Vietnamese or whatever, because you can't communicate with them when you need your customers handled. So I'm saying be knowledgeable in whatever it is that you decide to open. And let's just say for me, I entered into the cosmetic game. I wasn't exactly knowledgeable in that. I took all the necessary steps to educate myself so that when I'm in meetings and I have to interact with the people that are my manufacturers and my distributors, I can communicate properly. So educate yourself and try to take on something that you're going to be passionate about even when you're not making money, because you got to still keep driving it.
Okay.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you for your time. Yep.
Sorry.
So you actually had a panel this morning, right?
It was like we did a little hair talk. It was just me and
Laura.
yes, for me. Radio.
Okay.
Miss Kimball.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Would you please re-explain your message to young women that are trying to care for their own hair? What are the necessary do's and don'ts?
Well, definitely, I'm all about hair care. So, and I know you've heard this before, but definitely choosing the right conditioners. Making sure that, a lot of young women are into extensions, and I wear extensions. I love extensions. But you got to make sure you get the right ones and you have the proper care for them, because I know a lot of women are losing hair. And, if it's too tight, take it out. Don't wear it. Also, give your hair a break. I love the whole natural hair movement that's happening now, because it allows women, especially women of color, to embrace their natural hair. And I think in the long term it'll be healthier, because if you just wear extensions or weaves too much or put too much chemicals, it's going to destroy the hair that you have. So I like having options, because I wear it all. I do it all. I do natural hair, I wear extensions, but I definitely give my hair breaks. Eating has a lot to do with taking care of your hair. Make sure you drink plenty of water. I know they don't want to hear that, but it is hydrating. I've had to learn myself, just the things that you eat makes a big difference in your hair and your skin and your whole body.
What would you recommend for women of my age that are senior citizens? With your hair falling out,
right?
And you want to put a weave in to cover it up, but then that takes out more of your hair, and then you put the chemicals in your hair, and it takes out some more. So, what would you suggest?
Our hair changes every 7 years, especially when we get older. Our hair has a tendency to get much more drier and more brittle, and especially when our hair starts to turn gray, it becomes very wiry. So it's very difficult to control. So if you don't put chemicals in your hair, or you don't wear natural hair, you might want to wear extensions and wigs. It's just you still have to take the same care. I would take it out every 2 months to give my hair a break, condition. And if you put it back in, wigs are a great option too, because a lot of our clients have transitioned from extensions to wigs. Because what I like about the wigs is some of them that come in and they get it in our salon, they get their wigs sewn on. It's almost just like a weave. They cut the top open, or they do a unit piece and they have their hair cover the top, but they have it sewn on, but they can take it off in a couple of weeks, get their hair conditioned, braided up, and put back on.
Question. As a woman of color, myself, I love weaves, but a lot of people look at it as sellout, as who I am as a person, because the weaving business is a multi-billion-dollar business, but it's owned by not many black owners. So the people who own the business don't even wear the hair. You understand? Right. We feel that beauty is the long hair, the curly hair, the hair that looks like somebody else. So do you believe that we really, as people, have sell out in terms of owning our own beauty, as wearing our hair nappy, and just understand that that's African, that's a part of who we are, rather than try to look, with the long, silky hair that people would say pretty to and say ugly to a nappy hair. But in reality, nappy is just us. But people compare the texture of your hair to pretty because it's soft and it's straight. What would you say about that?
Well, that's why one of the things I mentioned about the natural hair movement has kind of helped people. I think the problem is a lot of us don't understand how to really take care and maintain our hair. And I think the bloggers have helped, and the video bloggers have helped people understand how to care for their natural hair. What I will say is this: I actually have been in the hair business for over 25 years. I've done from natural hair to extensions. I've wear natural hair to extensions. And I actually own my own hair line, extension line. It's called Hair Drove. And the whole thing behind it is, because what I've noticed about me and a lot of my clients, we like to change our hair, just like we change our clothes. It's part of kind of my expression of how I feel. I think that every race does something to alter their hair. Whether they color it, whether they perm it, whether they put straighteners in their hair as well. I think everybody has the same thing. Everybody's not always satisfied with what they have, and I think they're just trying to find their way. And for me, I look at it as an expression. I don't think it has anything to, for me, it doesn't have anything to, I love my natural hair as much as, now that I've learned how to maintain it and how to work with it. I love it as much as I love wearing my extensions. But for me, I like variety. I like to change my hair. Like, if you just saw me probably a week ago, my hair was just like yours. Okay. Like, my natural hair is like that. And of course, sometimes I do enhance it with pieces to give it more volume. I think it's about, feeling confident. That's where my slogan, great hair equals confidence, comes from. because I think what makes you feel good. I don't want to say that, you know, it may have started off that way, but I think women just like variety and they like what they see. And you see more and more, there's a lot of smaller hair companies on the rise that are out, you know, that are more niche hair companies, not like the, you know, the companies that you're talking about that have been selling hair. You know, for me, it's about quality. That's why I started in the hairline, because I wanted quality and variety in textures. Because a lot of that stuff doesn't really, what I don't like is when we wear hair that doesn't match our hair texture. If it's too silky, some of us have, you know, African Americans' hair range from silky to kinky. And other races, Latino, even some Caucasian, they have kinky, curly hair. So hair is about texture, really. It's not about race, and until people really understand that and learn that. Because in every race, they have multiple textures. So it's really about finding a texture that blends well with you and your hair. Because what doesn't look good is if you have kinky hair and then this hair is like silky, like down here. It's a dead good one. I know what you were trying to do, but it didn't work out. So I think by being educated, and I would like to see more education on hair extensions and weaves and wigs. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, as long as you wear it properly. As long as you don't, it doesn't, you know, it's done. A lot of people are doing it at home. We call them kitchen beauticians. I would not trust someone in the kitchen to do my weave or my color or my relaxer because they've not been trained to do it. Because I've been wearing extensions for years, I still have all my edges. Okay. But there's a way to do it, you know. And I do give my hair breaks, and I condition my hair, and I take care of my hair. And so I think that it's all in the education, and I think it's all about expression. If we look at it like that and understand that hair is, again, texture. Everybody has multiple textures. We all change our hair, you know. But for me, it's all about how do I feel today? How do I want to be? Do I want to be bohemian? Do I want to be Afrocentric today? You know, I'll throw my natural hair on and throw my little kente cloth skirt on. And, you know, for me, it's like really coordinating with what I'm wearing. Sometimes I want to be a rocker chick. Okay, now I want wavy, wild hair, and I want to be a rocker chick. So if I think we look at it more that way and take all that out of it, but do it properly and safe so that we don't lose our hair, because that's where the biggest problems come in.
My question to you is, we see you like kind of have your own empire. Like recently I saw that you had your own vending machine, your hair vending machine. So my question to you is, what lies ahead, projective-wise?
Last question.
Projective-wise, what do you see yourself changing the hair game?
Well, for me, I mean, I have big dreams with my brand. Again, education is a big part of what I want to do. It's educating people. So building my educational platform. We have, of course, my products are, you know, we have products in Sally's right now. Expanding my product line and expanding my hair business. I want to have hair salons that carry my products all over the country. Not, I know you see me talking about Atlanta, but not. I want to be in New York, Vegas. So my goal is to be able to have a place where women can come in and you know, be serviced, you know, with the Kimball touch. Everybody can be Kimbolized all over the country. Yes, and also help build other entrepreneurs, because through my platform I want to have, you know, other people, you know, kind of, you know, be able to make money off of our brand and our name.
How can we stay in touch with you? How can we find your
Kimball.com has, but you know, I'm Kimball Hair Care is my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Kimball Hair Studio. KimKimball.com has all of our contact information on there.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you guys.
Well, they just look, I just want to know, will it look better for the aesthetic of this whole thing? I'll take it.
First question. Coming out of Toronto, how do you handle the comparisons to Drake?
I don't really, I think I used to get it a lot more back in the day when a lot of people didn't really know me, but you know, my music is very, very versatile, and it, you know, it touches a lot of different pivotal points. And I feel like just the versatility and the difference in my music, it's kind of hard to actually compare the two of us if you really listen to my music and really listen to it.
What age did you get started in music?
As far as just creatively and just expressing myself, it was around age 11 because my mom passed away. And when she died, I was like a real rebellious kid, and I didn't really know how to handle, you know, situations. I kind of looked at everything like, you know, my mom can't tell me what to do. And so the only way for me to really express myself without being, you know, harmful to the things around me is for me to just express it through the music. And, you know, write.
Tori, real quick question. Like, how do you feel about the hip hop R&B sound and the mesh of it? It's beautiful to me. I love it. Such as like a Bryson Tiller or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
How is it, for you guys now, like coming into that and now showing everybody that this is the type of music we're coming out with? Like you said, you can't compare it to Drake because you got different artists.
I made a project about 2 years ago called The Chicks Tape 2. And basically it was this big spin-off, and it spun all the records that I loved from the 90s and like the early 2000s that I liked. And I pretty much, reproduced the records and changed them and, made my own version of the songs and changed the songs and stuff like that. And this was like a little bit before I think a lot of the other newer R&B dudes came out. Cause a lot of them came out like last year, about a year and a half ago. A lot of people I feel like have that same kind of sound that came off of that project. I'm not gonna ever say, I'm the originator, but I will say that I feel like I was one of the first just young dudes singing the type of just with the type of material that I was singing and the type of things that I was singing about and the content. Of course with the production as well. I feel like I definitely have a lot to do with the innovation of the way new R&B sounds today.
Right, absolutely.
So what's next for you?
My question. As an artist, I have 2 sons, and a lot of times I believe that the content, the lyrics are not appropriate for even my child to listen to. I believe that because as rappers and even as R&B artists, we tend to, it's all about the bitch and the whores and the money and the drugs, the guns. Do you think that these, when are we going to clean up the music and do, things that make sense to the younger generation rather than these kind of content that because of money we do it?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. My dad was a preacher. He's a missionary preacher. He goes around the world and he preaches and things like that. And just like any other rapper or any other black kid, I slipped up. I've said things that I don't really mean. But I think with rap, because of the fact that it's an expression of young, especially a lot of young black males, it's like a lot of us are rapping about the things that we see or the things that we're going through. And I feel like, don't get me wrong, a lot of people exaggerate and a lot of people say things, and there's a lot of content out there that's just, it's not right for our kids. It's not right for young kids growing up, and that's why you got me to write songs like Say It and stuff like that, But that's part of my whole thing is being versatile and having music for these people and having music for these people regardless, because there's going to be a day where I feel like I want to sing to you, baby girl, and there's going to be a day where I feel like I'm mad and I want to get my pain out and my frustration of how my life is going today, and it may not sound like roses and carnation milk and honey, what I'm saying. It's going to sound a little rough sometimes, so that's
Tori. Oh yes. For your song, I know you sample, Brownstone. I want to say Blackstone as well. Brownstone. Why is it, do you think, that so many R&B rappers, everybody in general, tends to flock to music from the 90s to sample instead of kind of just trying to do
personally, I feel like the Chicks Tape 2 has a lot to do with that. But at the same time, we are all young and we came from an era of music, or at least listening to an era of music where we at least got the gems. The kids of today, it's just kids who were born in 2000. They're 15 now. Where's their song when they were 15 that they're going to listen to and they're going to be like, this was amazing and I can't, this time will never be the same. They'll never have that. So it's it's up to people like me and it's up to people like a lot of these other R&B singers to bring, a new flavor of what we got, but to just bring it in a new way so that, it's not the exact song or it's not, and hence would say it. With that record, I felt the same way. It was just let me make this brand new. And of course, there's a lot of kids that haven't heard those songs. And we've heard those songs and we feel like how and what kind of world were you living in to not hear this song? But in our reality, it's some of these kids don't know the song. I personally didn't know the Brownstone song before I sampled it. Wow. I didn't know it. I didn't hear it.
You're still learning about music at the end of the day. You're still a student.
I gotta remember, because my dad is a preacher, I was straight away from a lot of that secular music. So a lot of the stuff that y'all grew up, the Jodeci and all that, I didn't grow up on that. You know, I didn't get a chance to grow up on that. So a lot of the times, sometimes I go back to music now and I'm just finding out about it. And so for me to know that about myself, that means that somebody's got to bring this in for the younger kids than me who for damn sure don't know about that, you know? So.
All right, one more question.
What is, I should say, your greatest lesson that you have learned being in this industry and that you would like to tell the youth? That
Be humble. Humble yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, take a second to step back and humble yourself. And understand that, like, you're not the first person to do this, and you're not the last person to do this. Just humble yourself, you know, and just have your faith in God. And just at the end of the day, just as long as you right with Him and y'all got a relationship and you allow Him to guide you where you got to go, you're going to be Gucci.
Your dad still like you?
Thank you.
Your dad still likes you right now?
Oh, my dad loves me. I love my dad too, you know.
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you. Lovely. Cookie Pavilion.
Listen, we had no idea, but you know what?
I want the big plate.
If you guys could just take a really small ride uptown and come hang out with us after the festival. After the festival.
Where are you located exactly?
Sylvia's Restaurant is the oldest restaurant in Harlem. So between 126 and 127th Street on Lenox. But you know, our block is actually named over after Sylvia. So it's Sylvia Woods Way now. This is our 53rd year, and CJ has been with us for
16 years.
Oh, okay. So he's done a lot of press with us. The Today Show. He's been featured in Men's Health.
So he partnership owns this business.
Well, he's the heart and soul that makes that food so
We've
good.
been around while prior coming to Sylvia's. I was retired from Tropicana Casino in Atlantic City after 28 years. I decided to come back to New York because I left here when the casinos opened, so I came back and I ended up working with Sylvia's. Been around ever since.
So I know Sylvia food is filled with love. Give me some
Yeah.
of the ingredients that you put in.
Well, that's the first ingredient.
The first ingredient started with love, and the love started with me because I'm the one that put the foot in. Not literally put the foot in, but you know, I put my best into it, you know, and my work is proven.
Yes. Well, one of the ingredients that we're going to be showcasing today is sassy beef. And sassy beef is an item that my grandmother started making many years ago by chopping up our short ribs of beef and then adding our barbecue sauce, which is known as sassy sauce. If you go to the grocery stores, it's nationwide. You know, we're really excited about the fact that we have the largest family-owned food product line minority in the country with over about 42 items. So we have sauces, we have mixes, fried chicken mix, fried fish mix, cornbread mix, apple crisp, you name it, we got it. And we got a lot of great seasonings that are doing really, really well. And we're just happy to be here. Like, Circle of Sisters is what Sylvia's is all about. It's about uplifting and empowering women and entrepreneurs. And we're just happy to have CJ here to get up on that stage and make it do what it do. Uh-oh, CJ. Can you cook for her?
Cook for you at home. We'll do up a contract.
He cooks for Whoopi a lot. He cooks Whoopi's pork chops. He makes Whoopi Goldberg's pork chops.
A lot of dishes for different people,
Yeah.
especially at the casino, you know, for athletes and singers. Patti LaBelle, Johnny Mathis.
And at the restaurant.
Yes, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for you, $2.
What is your favorite meal that you like to cook?
Oh, wow. I have a lot of favorite meals, but I like to really go deep in the South. I like to do food that really not on most people's menu, but at the restaurant, my favorite is the chicken. I kind of like stepped it up a little bit. We knocked up a notch, and I make it just like, you know, it tastes, you know, your finger licking good, you know.
Let me tell you, it causes like a scene at the restaurant when people come in. About how many pounds of chicken do you think we fry?
Oh God! In the day, from 8 o'clock in the morning until closing at night, we must fry about 300 to 400 pounds. We well exceed the most of the fast food chicken places. We well exceed that.
Not to be the grunge of the fried chicken.
Yes.
Fried chicken, I mean, oil, Fry, we are one of the black for the blacks. We are one of the art disease is one of the number one.
The heart, vascular, cardiovascular.
Right, and I'm just saying, like fried food sometimes contributes to so much else.
Yes, it does.
We got you covered on that. CJ was actually featured in Men's Health magazine doing a variety of traditional soul food items over healthy. So we have like our sassy chicken, which is sauteed with our sassy sauce and lots of vegetables, and it's heart healthy for you. So I would say that what's been really cool about what we've done in the past 15 years at the restaurant is we've worked with the American Heart Association. The majority of our food products, especially the vegetables, have the Heart Healthy label on them. And I've been featured on Project Runway representing the American Heart Association, just bringing awareness to heart disease in our community, but also telling people how you can come to Sylvia's and not just get the fried chicken. You can indulge with the fried chicken, but we have grilled chicken, baked chicken, grilled salmon, baked fish. So everything that you get at Sylvia's fried, you can get it grilled or baked.
What kind of oil you use?
You can't use olive oil or fried chicken because it'll burn.
It burns. The temperature is too much. We use corn oil, vegetable oil. Even we use vegetable shortening when we make our biscuits.
Yes.
We use vegetable shortening. We don't use any pork fat in our cooking at all.
So, and one of the cool things is when New York State, the health department, decided to make it a mandate to cook with zero trans fats, we were actually the spokesperson for that because we had already been cooking with zero trans fats. So, baby, come eat some fried chicken. Get some baked chicken.
You still have
a little bit of oil don't hurt you because what it does, it lubricates your large intestine, which is called the colon, and like your stomach. If you don't have a lubricant, you might have
get a little messy. But yes, to your oxtail question, we still have oxtail
on Thursdays.
Yeah.
Well, oxtails is Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah. Thursday, and next week, we got to talk about next week very quickly. Next week, CJ is going to be doing a lot of cooking, a lot of prepping. We have our 14th annual Sylvia and Herbert Witt Scholarship Foundation, which is really, really the mainstay of what our business is all about. And the Sylvia and Herbert Witt Scholarship has sent over 100 students from Harlem and the surrounding communities to college.
This is what we wanted here.
Yes. So we have sent, like I said, over 100 students, and we're about to add 8 more to that. And our kids graduate. We have a very high graduation rate. I think we only had 2 students. Chrisette, Sylvia's daughter, 1 student. Okay, make sure you write this down. 1 student from the community, from kids from the community. They come in, their parents. We're very hands-on with our guests. So we talk a lot, and we're like, hey, your baby should be hitting high school soon. Make sure they come and get an application. They come in and get an application, and our application process is a 2.5 GPA or better, because a lot of our students that we found in a community don't have the same access to testing help, and the testing are a little different, skewed in our communities. So, but our kids graduate. We
need more stories like these.
Yeah. So come check us out. Next week we'll be at Riverside Church Friday. We still have tickets available, and we have an amazing menu. We have great food. We have Ron Grant and friends for the band, so we're going to be jamming. We're going to be eating chicken waffle bites, collard green spring rolls, grilled salmon.
Also, I'm going to be making a sifted butter for your waffles.
So. Ooh, yeah.
So you have a stall, so we can come and check out right now.
Well, we're going to be on the stage, and CJ is going to be demoing the sassy beef, and then after, everyone gets to taste it.
Oh.
But come hang out with us. We're right up the street.
I didn't bring a lot now. I didn't bring the cow. I brought the calf.
We have time for one more question.
Yes. What I'm really interested in doing is setting you guys up for interviews too. We'll not only just feature in the Tree magazine, but also for the interview also as well.
Okay, great.
The city. So, do you have a business card? How do you get in?
Yes.
With you directly?
Yeah. I'm going to give you my number. So just call me directly and come hang out with us at Sylvia's. 100% family owned.
When I come, I'm coming to look.
100%, and all of our real estate we own.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I like to see strong black.
Yeah.
I
Strong
would
Black
also like to
family.
do an interview from our media.
Oh yes, I'd love to. Okay, fantastic. We appreciate you. Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day. And have a great taste.
Yes.
You too.
I like that. Have a great day. Have a great taste.
So you have food out.
Well, I brought the cab. Okay, let's get
Empowerment conference because I believe that we as the women are the leaders, and I think that it's important that we empower each other. And when you have something called the Circle of Sisters, it's encouraging, it's enlightening, and what I bring to the party is healthy food. So with each cooking demonstration, I also encourage my sisters to make healthy choices when they make food for themselves and for their families.
We'd like to ask you something. Okay. I found out that a lot of times women, men, we want to eat healthy. Like myself, I have a heart condition. What is the best way to keep that regimen going? Because we always stray and get back onto the unhealthy food. What is your suggestion?
That's a great question. My suggestion in living a healthy lifestyle is to look at it like a lifestyle, not a diet, not completely eliminating something that you enjoy. I think we have to do things in moderation, and we have to make small adjustments. For instance, instead of saying, I'm never going to eat beef and pork, give yourself place some guidelines and some limitations. Say, I'm going to increase my chicken, fish, and turkey intake, and I'll do beef and pork on special occasions, if that's, if that works for me, instead of just completely cutting something out altogether. Also, bread is one of our pitfalls. It's hard for us to eliminate bread altogether, so we can put some limitations. We can say, okay, bread on the weekends, cut it out during the week. And those are just small steps we can take for ourselves just to make small adjustments.
Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
I have a question. I'm Emma from Collide TV. Hi. So this is more like personal for me. I'm from the South, so I have my car. I felt it was very, easy for me to access different types of food. So coming here, it's like I have to go on the train. I stay all the way in the Bronx.
Right.
So what are some tips that you would give me, or just like younger people who might be moving from city to city, on how to stay healthy, and even though that we're like in a new environment?
Well, what I will say, I'm from California. What I will say is when I come to New York, I see a lot of healthy choices. I see restaurants and convenience stores that cater to people making healthy lifestyle changes. And it's all about choices. You can choose to go to the fast food restaurants, or you can choose to go to the healthier choices. So it really comes down to choices. Of course, fast food is more convenient, but if we give ourselves a little extra time and maybe add a little more into our budget, we can invest in a healthier lifestyle, because you're going to pay one way or another. You're going to pay now if you invest in yourself and buy organic, clean, lean food, or you're going to pay later when you have to buy prescriptions and pay for doctor visits and hospital bills. And I've seen it because I come from a family of women. I have 3 aunts and a mother and a grandmother, and they're all struggling right now with all the medications that they're on and the doctor's visits. But if they would have made the healthier lifestyle change earlier in their lives, they wouldn't be having to pay for it now. Great question.
Would you say, I'm Anthony Rayshawn from Bronze Magazine.
Okay.
Would you say that it would be a better choice to make your own bread if you are going to have it that way? That's something that I do because of health issues, that I see my family struggling with, that I choose to make my own bread, but it takes so much to prepare it that I don't have it that often.
Right. Of course, if we prepare anything at home, we know what's in it. A lot of times it's not as many preservatives and additives and all that stuff they put in the store to increase the shelf life, because the name of the game for the a store is to make more money. So of course making things at home is a healthier choice than buying it already prepared in the store. But there are other bread alternatives. And if you notice, there's a lot of people with celiac disease and gluten intolerance, allergies. Whole Foods has, you know, a very expensive but alternatives for bread.
Excuse me. Are you asking something? Yeah. You can do because you have never.
Oh, thank you. When it comes to gluten intolerance, I know especially for children, it's a hard change, of course, for foods. What do you suggest for children who are suffering from gluten intolerance?
My suggestions for children suffering with a gluten intolerance is to, as a mom or a caregiver, it's important that we keep things fresh and clean and coming from the earth. And people ask me all the time, what's the secret? The secret is eat lean meats, chicken, fish, and turkey, vegetables, and fruit, and drink plenty of water. That's really the secret key to living a healthy lifestyle.
Question, one question.
Last question.
A lot of times, for meat right now, like I suffer from fibroids, and they said the chicken has a lot of hormones. Most of these foods right now are full of all kind of crazy things. The supermarkets like Fairway and World and are in certain community, and then we have all the supermarkets that give us junk and the garbage and the chicken and food as an ingredient. What do you think about that?
Well, we have to read labels. If we know that we have some challenges like fibroids, you have to read the labels, and when you go for lean meat, make sure it says vegetarian, grass-fed, no antibiotics, no steroids, because it's what they're feeding the animals that we put into our body that can feed challenges that we're faced with.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
What is it for you to stay connected to your fans via social media?
It's very important because they're the ones that give me my drive to do what I'm doing.
With the lyrics today and the contents of music, I just asked somebody else. I have a problem with most of the lyricals, the rappers, you know. I mean,
what advice would you give to young people instead of going into the field?
Entertainment? Do your research and study what it is you're getting into. Make sure that you're passionate about it, and know that there's going to be obstacles that's going to come along the way, and just be ready to face them and take them head on.
Here's the second. What obstacles have you faced so far?
I've faced many obstacles from death in my family, me not getting the response on my music that I look forward to, stuff like that. That can, really question one, ability, stuff like that. Just know that that comes with the territory. Be ready to face it.
We recently premiered your video for Get Home with Migos and Student. How'd that collaboration come about? And the Wild video, like how did it all come together?
So I'm a big Quentin Tarantino fan, and I love video games. I have a POV, the short film for Get Home, and that's how it came about. Just I wanted to do something that was creative and something that made an impact, because first impression is everything to me, and that's how it came about. Kid Ink is the homie, Playboy's the homie. I made a phone call and then they were there. So that's how it came about. Shout out to Mustard too.
Who else are you working with on your upcoming project?
I have a song with Wale. I have some stuff with Jhené Aiko, Future, Mike Will Made It, just to name a couple.